like to talk today about how my husband and I learned of Vernon Howard's passing in 1992. There's a little bit of a personal story involved. Bob and I had been seeing a counselor, a grief counselor. Bob had been working in an airline, had built a career there, and the airline had hit hard times, and they were cutting back, and he knew he was going to have to face early retirement. And he had told the counselor, he said, I feel like they're chopping off an arm here and a leg there until there's not going to be anything left of me. They cut his salary and taken his title and given him a lower title, supposedly in an effort to save money, but he was very distressed. And so Wayne, our counselor, told Bob, he said, why don't you and Vicki go to the mountains this weekend? He said, they never close. And maybe you can take pictures of walls, because Bob had told him, I feel like I've hit a wall. So for some weird reason, we didn't think about it. We just did it. That Friday afternoon, we put a small suitcase in the car, and we set off for the North Georgia mountains. We had a lovely day. We drove slowly through a couple of little towns on the way to our destination town. And Bob did get out and take pictures of stone walls. Whenever he saw one, we would pull over and he would take a picture of the wall. Well, there was a country music theater in Hiawassee, our destination town, and the Gatlin brothers were going to be playing there on Saturday night. This was their so-called farewell tour, and it was called the Adios Tour. And I had always wanted to see the Gatlins live. But guess what? There was no room in the inn. The little town was bursting at the seams, and we had stopped in several motels only to be told that they didn't have any room. But finally I said, well, look, there's one little resort, excuse me, on the lake there. Let me just run in. You just keep the motor running, and I'm going to run in and see if they have any rooms. I went in, and the desk clerk said, you are really in luck. He said a couple had checked in, and then they got a phone call, some news from their family, and they have to leave immediately. You can have their room. And I said, oh, praise God, thank you. So I went out to the car and told Bob, and we checked in. And I said, I really wanted to hear the Gatlins tonight, but I hear they're sold out. Well, about that time, the couple who had been called away came up and were overhearing my conversation, and they said this, we have a pair of tickets to the Gatlins, and since we have to go home, we'll be happy to sell them to you. So we ended up sitting in the auditorium listening to the Gatlins, and it was an unforgettable evening. Larry Gatlin sang a song called The Heart, and his pure, clear voice rang out over that small audience. It was just a blessed weekend. We got home, excuse me, we got home, and that Monday evening, we got a call from Boulder City, where Vernon lived and taught. And the call was for Bob. And it was the head of Vernon's foundation, and he called to say that Vernon had passed. And he read a statement over the phone that Vernon had left for his students, and it was this: don't let the mind be a wall. Let everything unfold. You can imagine how that impacted us, since we were directed to the mountains, told to take pictures of walls. Bob did. We got an unexpected room, unexpected tickets, and heard the Heart sing beautifully. I knew that that was all meant to be. Now, that's what's commonly called synchronicity. It's also being at the right place and the right time, and I call it divine order. Everything was in divine order for us to learn about Vernon Howard's passing. We had let everything unfold. We had given up on finding a room at the end. And yet unexpectedly, we got the room, we got the tickets. And most importantly of all, we got the message that Vernon left us. Don't let the mind be a wall. Let everything unfold. Namaste.